Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for watching. Now, it's me again. When it comes to manufacturers or brands that create cases, I notice a specific pattern. They either go down the whole tragic RGB route, which is completely epileptic, or they either go down the whole fully tempered glass or overly sophisticated case that sometimes may turn out like an IKEA cabinet, which is a little strange. But it's okay, if you're a consumer and you like weird stuff, then it's perfectly fine. And I guess the biggest struggle for manufacturers or creators or brands today is creating cases that are minimal, simple in terms of design, but completely or fully functional. If there's no RGB today, no brands would want to release their cases, and that's kind of strange. But I guess, everyone has their own preferences and stuff, and it's really sort of important to keep up with trends to make business margins and stuff, and I completely understand that. But putting that all aside, there are a few cases in 2018 that I'm pretty interested to review, and one of them is of course the Fractal Design R6. But of course, before we start, here's a quick message from our sponsor. So if you're looking at water cooling your brand new overclocked rig, check out Singularity Computers. They have a ton of self-manufactured high-quality liquid cooling parts from reservoirs, pump tops, and a whole lot of other wet stuff. For more information, check out the link in the description section below. See, I've always been a fan of Fractal Design's Define series, which was also the series that turns heads, especially among PC enthusiasts. It's simple, it's functional, and most importantly, it's modular. And of course, it's been quite a while since the R5. See, the Define series is all about reducing the amount of noise level, hence the general design principles, which looks pretty conservative, but based on my personal experiences with Fractal Design cases, this doesn't really come at an expense of performance. The R6 has the ability to quickly transform into a high airflow case in a heartbeat. The case comes stocked with 3 140mm fans, 2 on the intake and 1 on the exhaust. The whole front of the case, like any other Define series, attempts to replicate a nice brushed aluminum finish, but only this time the front panel is actually made out of steel. While the front panel may seem like it lacks any form of airflow, that really isn't the case. The front panel actually functions as a door that is fitted with a nice thick layer of noise dampening material until I found a disk drive bay. But I guess it's okay. Even if it's 2018, there may be some users who are still into CD drives or a bay reservoir. Despite that, the front panel still supports up to 280mm of radiator, which ultimately means there really isn't a downside. The front ventilation has also changed quite a bit, with its downwards facing vents. And of course, I will be doing a test to see if there's a massive temperature difference with both doors closed and open slightly later in the video. I've always have mixed reviews about using a dust filter due to the fact that it tends to restrict airflow, but if your PC is somehow prone to dust, I'd suggest you to use it. The R6 comes with a pre-fitted dust filter on the front, and you could also pull out the bottom dust filter right below the front panel door, which makes things much simpler. On top of the R6, you get the signature module vent cover. Removing the vent cover would reveal the plastic mesh fan filter. You can fit 3 120mm fans or a 360mm radiator at large. The front I/O panel remains quite identical to all the other Define series, with 2 USB 3.0 ports and 2 2.0 ports, which is quite surprising given the fact that it's 2018, and in my opinion they should have included a USB-C port as well. But of course, with the Connect D1 I/O panel, which will be sold separately, you will be able to do just that. So opening the tempered glass side panel reveals a super organized interior of the R6, including the PSU shroud, which is somehow really necessary these days. A nice steel plate covers the less pretty looking drill holes to ensure a nicer and cleaner setup. You have 2 options for storage, either via the default setup, or if you're really not the type of person who stacks hard drives and you'd like some water cooling space, you can remove the drive base, which automatically makes room for your brand new water cooling setup. Unfortunately, with the R6, there isn't a pre-packed mount for your reservoirs or pump, so you'd probably have to get that sorted out. While the top or the roof of the case supports up to 360 mils of radiator, you need to also make sure that your radiator isn't too thick if you like the top radiator layout. So Fractal Design also included a pretty convenient fan hub, which you can power up to 9 fans, 3 PWM and 6 regular 3-pin via the whole SATA power connector. The R6 could fit up to an eATX motherboard, but in this video, I'm actually using an ATX for reference purposes. Now if you have not noticed, the R6 does provide vertical GPU compatibility, but the adapters are sold separately. Cable management shouldn't be an issue like any other defined cases, given its cable routing that exists pretty much everywhere. So the other question is, how much of a temperature difference could you get if you were to open or close the front panel? So I did a test running a CPU stress test, specifically via Prime 95 since it's pretty straightforward, for 5 minutes each, first with the panel closed and open. While the open door settings may have just shaved off a couple of degrees overall, it really isn't quite practical to leave the front door open. I do, however, feel with better fans, you may be able to get a similar result with the doors closed. See, despite the pretty compact design, which made me quite skeptical about the overall case airflow, the R6 didn't fail to deliver. But from a silent case perspective, this probably isn't the most silent case out there today. Especially when fans are running at full speed, they are pretty audible, but not exactly loud. Well, I guess in summary, if I really have to say something about the R6, what I really like about it is its ability and belief to retain its simple, minimalist look, and not caving into the whole overly sophisticated case that gives you a massive headache, especially with those additional RGB lights and unnecessary curves, which serves pretty much little to no purpose. The modularity of the R6 is definitely one of its selling points, targeting both novice and enthusiast builders. But in all honesty, I've not had my hands on the R5 yet, given its age, but I must say the R6 will sort of always have a special place in my heart. In fact, most defined series do. The flexibility of the case for massive hardware configurations and stress-free cable management would surely be a hit in 2018. The Fractal Design R6 retails at 689 ringgit, and while it really isn't the cheapest case in its category out there today, it is something worth considering if you're trying to move out from this whole little RGB stuff and whole extreme tempered glass cases. And in my opinion, you know, current trends die, but classic designs like the R6 is definitely here to stay. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and of course, hit the subscribe button if you have not. Oh yeah, I mean, give me a big thumbs up if you've not, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.